Pledge of Allegiance. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, 10.0, report from closed session. There's nothing to report out from closed session. 11.0, approval of open session agenda.
I make a motion to approve the open session agenda.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. 12.0, presentations to students and staff. And I was asked to just make a little announcement that these meetings have been recorded lately and they do end up on social media and YouTube. So if you have any objection to your child being put on social media or YouTube, let us know ahead of time and we'll make sure that they're not captured in that video. Thank you.
My name is Gina Murphy. I'm the principal at the primary school. So we're going to start with some primary school recognitions. The first one I'd like to make is for somebody who was unable to make it tonight, but I thought, well, since it's being recorded, then she could watch the recording and see it. So this is for Diane Kimball. Tonight we get to recognize someone very special, someone who's rarely able to join us, because she also serves as a board member in Cascade, where the meetings fall on the same night. But for us at Happy Valley Primary, she's our wonderful special day class teacher. Diane takes exceptional care of our SDCBs. They spend about half of their day with her, and she skillfully coordinates the time they spend in their general education classrooms. This requires constant communication, planning, and collaboration with multiple teachers, and Diane does it with ease and professionalism. She brings positivity to every situation. She is calm, thoughtful, and deeply attuned to what her students need to succeed. Under her care, our students are learning, growing, and making remarkable progress. Diane is also an incredible team player. She willingly supports any student who needs her, and her classroom is known as a safe, welcoming space where students can take a break, reset, and simply feel cared for. Diane, thank you for the heart, skill, and stability you bring to our hive. We are so grateful for you. Next on our list, I'll call up the person I'm recognizing, and then they will call up students that they are honoring this evening. So the first person, I don't see. So I'll move that one over there, and then I can do the students later if she doesn't make it. Okay. Next, I would like to call up Paige Salcido. All right. Tonight we celebrate Paige, our wonderful third grade teacher, whose classroom is truly one of the happiest places in our hive. Paige creates a welcoming and comfortable environment where students feel safe, supported, and eager to learn. The rapport she builds with her class is unmistakable. You can often hear joyful joking and laughter coming from her room throughout the day. She balances this warmth with high expectations, guiding her students with a gentle demeanor that encourages them to rise to the challenge. In addition to her work in the classroom, Paige has taken on important roles such as serving on school site council and supporting various adjunct duties that help keep our hive buzzing smoothly. Her easygoing nature and great sense of humor make her a pleasure to work with and a bright spot in our school community. Paige empowers her students by giving them meaningful choice and voice in their learning. She listens to their perspectives, considers their ideas, and helps them grow into confident, thoughtful learners. Paige, thank you for the joy, care, and professionalism you bring to our school every day. We are grateful for the heart you put into your work and the positive impact you make on our hive.
have two students from my classroom that I want to recognize today, who are some of the hardest working students in my class. So the first one, actually just walked in, Brax. Can you come up here, bud? So Braxton, I nominated him because he has proven to be an exceptionally hardworking, helpful, and responsible student. He consistently puts forth his best effort, takes initiative, and demonstrates a level of maturity that sets an example for others. His strong work ethic makes him a valuable member of our classroom community. We're very proud of you. Yes, we are. That's for you, though. And the other one is Scarlett. So, Scarlett is kind, caring, and hardworking, who consistently brings positivity to the classroom. She treats others with respect and kindness, puts genuine effort into her work, and contributes to a supportive and welcoming learning environment. We are so grateful to have you in our class.
The next person I would like to recognize is Aubrey Stockbeck. She's a kindergarten teacher and really, in addition to all of the amazing things she does, we actually are celebrating because she finished her induction. You start out as an intern teacher and then you move, that's for, seems like forever, and then you move into an induction period where you work with a coach, and then after those couple of years, you clear your credentials. So it's a very long process and very rigorous, and she completed it like last week, and we're super proud of her.
Okay, so Ms. Murphy asked me to pick two students that have been achieving things in my classroom. So the first one I picked is Asher. I'm choosing Asher because he's made so much progress from the beginning of kindergarten until now. He can now write his name, identify letters and sounds, and he's even quadrupled his weekly UFI test score that we've been doing since August. And the next student is Marcus. I chose Marcus because despite being one of my English language learners, he has been so dedicated to his learning and successfully overcome the language barrier. He's one of my highest performing kindergarten students. Nice.
All right, the next person I would like to recognize is Shelly Kuahara. Tonight we're proud to recognize someone who's truly an essential part of our Hive, our special education aide, Shelly. Shelly's being honored not only by me, but by her colleagues for the tremendous role she plays on our team. She is incredibly flexible and is always willing to step in wherever she's needed. Whether it's supporting individual students, helping in a new classroom, or navigating unexpected situations, Shelly approaches every assignment with calm, confidence, and professionalism. She is level-headed, organized, and deeply caring. The students she serves, especially our special ed and resource students, benefit every day from her patience, her consistency, and her genuine belief in their potential. Time and time again, Shelley has shown that she can do excellent work no matter where she's placed. Beyond her direct work with students, Shelley also strengthens our system as a whole. She takes initiative, helps improve processes, and brings forward ideas that make our school community better. Her leadership in promoting positive student recognition through VBUCS rallies and other supports has helped build a joyful and encouraging culture for our little bees. Shelley, thank you for such a steady, caring, and highly skilled presence in our hive. We are grateful for everything you do for our students and our school.
All right, my first student is Scarlett. I chose Scarlett because she always shows up to school with a smile on her face. She's eager to learn and is helpful to peers around her. She is always friendly and respectful in all aspects of her school day, including her time in the cafeteria, out on the playground. She never hesitates to offer a helping hand when needed, whether it's helping us pick up playground equipment after recess or letting a classmate borrow a pencil. Way to go, Scarlett. So proud of you. My second student is Diego. Diego's one of our quieter students, but he has the kindest heart. He's always looking out for others and will play with anyone and everyone around him. He likes to joke around with staff and play tag when he shows up in the morning. He's always willing to learn new things and works very hard every day. Keep up the hard work, Diego.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. For those that might not know me, I'm Chris Nelson. I'm the principal at the elementary school here at the site, 4th through 8th grade. And the first person that I would like to call up to honor is one of our 4th grade teachers, Priscilla McDonald. All right. So the first thing, Ms. McDonald's new Taft Valley Elementary this year, not new to the profession, but new to us. And the first thing that I thought when I walked into her classroom on day one was like, wow, what a rich environment. First of all, it looks like it could be a page out of a Lakeshore Learning Catalog. There's just so much color coding and organization for student materials and art supplies and leveled reading books so the kids have access to books right at their level so they can achieve their AR goals right there in the classroom. So many great little things, even little backpacks on the back of the chairs, a lot of cool stuff. But also a lot of visual aids to assist with whatever math they're working on, and it's sort of updated throughout the year. Writing, how to write different aspects of paragraphs. And then student expectations, social contracts, things that help them with behavior, jobs and responsibilities, just all kinds of stuff. And then when I come in subsequently, I get to see it in action. And that has been a real joy. I've been talking about a lesson that I saw recently. I was very impressed where the students were doing multi-paragraph writing, essay expository writing, about renewable energy, and sort of doing a compare and contrast on which they thought were better. And I just, I love it when I go in thinking, are the students capable of doing this? And then to watch it in action and be surprised, like, yeah, they're getting it. They're all at different levels, and but they're doing it. And so that was super impressive. And that's another thing that I've seen and heard others observe about Ms. McDonald is just how many tools and strategies she brings into the classroom, but really how she just sort of becomes an expert on each one of her students and learns how to meet their needs. And so she's been a great addition to the team. She's always looking to learn and grow and collaborate with her colleagues. So very appreciative of all that you do. Thank you so much. And I'll hold on to this.
So my student to recognize is Kimber. So Kimber, you are a super kind student in my class, right? Yes, all the time. So Kimber is kind and caring classmate who brings positivity to our classroom every day. She consistently completes her work, asks thoughtful questions, not just random questions that I get sometimes. She asks when she needs help. She shows responsibility in all that she does. She's also respectful towards her peers, her teacher, and making our class a better place. So thank you so
All right, next I'd like to invite up Lindsay Fitzgerald Pena. I was so tempted to pretend like this was a mistake, like I got the wrong name or something, just to mess with her. Gosh, I could go on all night about Lindsay, but this isn't a roast, so. It's hard to encapsulate everything that she does for the school. As a secretary, you think about all the major areas that I work in: attendance, behavior, academics. She's right there in it. Attendance, she's so crucial to motivate kids to come to school. She's constantly coming up with new and creative ways to reach out to our students and to our families to really promote the importance of school attendance. Super creative, super fun in the way that she does that. With behavior, I'm kind of like chasing fire sometimes during the day or locked into meetings, and I can't always address things right away or communicate with parents as immediately as I would like to. And she's such a great partner in helping bridge that gap. If I need her to reach out to parents or put a kiddo in a holding pattern until I can step out of the meeting or things like that. And then again, super involved in our PBIS and coming up with all sorts of positive ways to promote character and good behavior and Viking Voucher Friday and all of those sorts of things. And then academics, whether it's working with me to actually build the schedule and put it into our Aries program, helping teachers at all hours of the day and night with their grade books, getting report cards out, helping with the certified certificates, the whole gamut. Just really integral in that. But really what I'd like to say about Lindsay is, I love hard workers and I love people that are passionate about what they do. And she's both. She puts in a ton of work. We were without a secretary for the first 2 months of school. A lot of that fell on her, and we worked together, and we both put in extra, and we had a lot of fun doing it. It wasn't a grind, it wasn't a gripe. It was like, hey, we got this, we can do it, and that's just so much fun for me to work hard, but do it in a manner that's still fun. And on top of all that, outside of her job responsibilities, she's here for her night job as PTO president. And again, I could go all night on the history, but there was a point mid-year last year where we were seriously considering that we might not have a PTO. And I was here alone with the current PTO president, and we were staring at each other, and it was a meeting, and it was just the two of us. And we were having that conversation when Lindsay walked in the door and said, "Don't trip, chocolate chip. We got this." And next thing you know, we're throwing a color run, and this year we're hosting grandparents' days and Friendsgiving feasts and a wonderful, wonderful harvest festival that was so much fun. And we have at least a dozen or so people coming to meetings every month, and that's all Lindsay. So yeah, she's a hard worker and she's truly passionate about our school and you know, about the kids here at the school. So can't thank you enough for all you do.
Okay, so my student that I chose is Gabriel Anderson. I chose you, Gabriel, because you have a heart of gold. You are the prime example of a good person, friend, and student. He always comes to school with a smile on his face and ready to help anyone in need. Thank you, Gabriel, for being such a polite, gentle person. All of us at the elementary truly enjoy having you around. So thank you, Gabriel.
All right, thank you, everyone. I'm gonna do the discussion action items. Now it's 13.0, information discussion items, updates, community events, and staff announcements. 13.1, community, staff, and district. Is there any announcements from the community? Okay. B, certificated staff. C, classified staff. D, board members.
I just want to say that 4-H was able to gather canned foods and donate turkeys for the Thanksgiving boxes the school did. And we also, at our summer meeting, we had donations of ornaments and stuff to decorate 2 Christmas trees, along with 2 trees that we are donating to the local community.
Thank you. Anybody else? E, primary site update.
Yeah, as we gear up for the upcoming holiday break, we're feeling the familiar mix of excitement and restlessness and elevated student energy that comes with this time of year. Staff are doing a wonderful job supporting students through these seasonal behaviors and helping them stay engaged and regulated. Our rallies continue to be a bright spot on campus. The last rally, we had so many shout outs that every class earned the chance to participate in our group game, which turned into a building-wide chicken dance. And the laughter and joy filling the hive was contagious and a great reminder of why these celebrations are so important. We also hosted our annual Thanksgiving feast where staff joined students for a shared meal. Our cafeteria team worked incredibly hard to prepare a traditional holiday meal, and it was both delicious and deeply appreciated. A big shout out to our nutrition services staff for making it happen. One of our classes has officially met the perfect attendance challenge for the month and will be celebrating with Miss Sandy. We continue to emphasize every day counts, and the students are rising to the challenge. Our instructional aides have been absolutely outstanding. They've stepped up across grade levels, learned schedules, anticipated needs, and taken initiative to support classrooms wherever gaps arise. As you know, if there's an illness going through the school, it doesn't just hit students. It's been inspiring to watch this team grow stronger and more cohesive each week. Looking ahead, next week brings another school-wide rally as well as Spirit Week, which always brings a lot of fun and community energy to campus. We will also host our annual story time on Wednesday evening, a cozy family event where special guest readers share holiday stories. Pajamas are encouraged, and we look forward to a warm turnout. Overall, despite the busyness of the season, our hive is buzzing along with positivity, connection, and teamwork.
Thank you. All right, elementary site update. F.
All right. Ditto. To all that. A few things I wanted to touch on. Just the generosity of the community. We had our that Thanksgiving basket drive and the turkeys that were brought in. We also had a Pennies for Pups drive. We had representatives from Haven Humane and a very, very cute dog come to one of our assemblies. And I think district-wide we raised, I want to say it was like $1,600 in mostly coins that, the kids, brought in. They were really thrilled with that. We also had our pink out game recently, and kind of passed the hat around, so to speak. We brought in over $500 of people just contributing the dollars or change out of their pockets for Jeremy, the referee, in this cancer battle. So a lot of generosity recently that's kind of stuck out to me. Also, a lot of fun. Gina mentioned the Friendsgiving feast. Our kitchen team did a fantastic job with that. Really thankful to PTO for sponsoring that event. I think we had 100% staff participation in that. Our staff versus student volleyball game, totally a ton of fun as well. We had our end of trimester 1 assembly. I think I must have passed out 200 awards. We had our Polar Pals gift shop, another PTO event new this year that the kids loved and had a lot of fun. Raised some money for our PTO and also just gave the kids a chance to shop for some unique gifts for mom or dad or grandpa. Another thing I was just going to give a shout out to is we had our 8th graders. Many of our 8th graders participated in the Anderson Parade and rode on a float. And weirdly, many of our staff members were in the Reading Christmas Parade, but for various reasons. But it sparked a lot of conversation about possibly looking to participate in a more official capacity next year in maybe one parade, the other, or both. So just throwing that out there in case anybody has some ideas on that. So that was a lot of fun as well. And then we recently had our girls basketball tournament. And I would always love our tournaments. Our athletic director, Corey, does a great job. Joey does a fantastic job. Cassie Harry, what she does with the snack bar, is just amazing. And so many other people to contribute to that, but just a few people to name specifically. And then, of course, naming our 7th grade and 8th grade girls who were both tournament champions. So they were very excited about that. And we were. But more than the championship or not championship, it's really fun to see the kids grow throughout the season in their skills and their teamwork. It's a really noticeable improvement. And being here this year from last year, I get to see it in the classroom too. So that's really exciting. I just wanted to share that. And that is it for me.
Just want to verify that the burning smell is normal for here.
That's what we were all looking around with each other.
We
No,
have multiple people back here smelling something.
I don't know if it's the heater.
Yeah.
It's just it's outside. It's outside. Yeah.
I can go get a spot.
Just start smelling it.
I smelled it perfect. When everyone was walking out, I smelled it. Okay, so for anyone who was here for the presentations and the announcements, you're welcome to leave or you're welcome to stay for the rest of the business meeting, but we're going to go into the business portion of the meeting. 14.0, communication to the board. The Anderson Union High School District just sent us the announcement of their public hearing for accounting of developer fees. I'm sure you guys all saw that in the packet. Okay, 15.0, public comment. Public session items not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of this body may be addressed at this time or be submitted to the superintendent in writing for board consideration as an agenda item. Items not on the agenda are restricted in response and action by the board and its members. A 3-minute limit is set for each speaker on all items. The total time for public input on each item is limited to 20 minutes, Government Code 54952. In order to protect the rights of all involved, complaints against employees should be addressed through the district complaint process. Speaking about a personnel issue at a board meeting may prevent the board from being able to act on it. Please see an administrator to initiate the complaint process. 15.1, public comment session is open. 15.2, items on the agenda. 15.3, items not on the agenda. Yeah, okay. 15.4, public comment session is closed. 16.0 consent agenda. Consent agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They will be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Board members may request that an item be removed from the consent agenda for later discussion. 16.1 approval of minutes for, I don't have to go through all of that. Minutes, yep.
I can make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Who just said it?
Jackie. Sorry, I can only hear who first and second, but I never can tell if everyone's eye.
I know where you were. I know you could be loud, I'm sure.
17.0.
Is it possible? Sure, I just wanted to acknowledge Gina's action as far as her acknowledgement of the town. I didn't know if anybody noted that. I don't think I was prepared that any research on it, so, but she's awesome and I just want I don't know. As far as administrator of the year, I believe it is.
Superintendent principal of the year for Shasta County.
There we go.
So I'll take it to the board items, if you're willing to go back to 15.3, items not on the agenda. Go ahead.
I just wanted to celebrate Gina because I know that it was acknowledged and I know that we won't have the dinner until May 14th, but I just wanted to celebrate by an acknowledgement and awesome.
It was an amazing.
A great job she does, so I just wanted to celebrate.
Thank you. I had planned on adding it at a future. I learned about it after the agenda was posted, so it is a major accomplishment. All right, sorry, 17.0, personnel. 17.1, approved personnel action reports.
I make a motion to approve the personnel action report.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I do have a question in regards to that. I found out at the last labor law meeting that this actually could be moved to consent agenda. It does not have to be its own standing item. Would you guys be opposed to that?
The personnel report?
I'm not opposed to it.
I'm not opposed to it, if anybody has questions, we can just move it down to 18.1. So.
I'm just gonna make a note of that real quick. Okay, 18.0, discussion action items. 18.1, we don't have to do because we did not remove anything from the consent agenda. 18.2, discussion action, approve the 25-26 first interim budget. You're up.
Okay. So I'm just gonna briefly go over some key points. The revenue came in, for everything between the LCFF, state aid, the other state aid, and then federal and local income, just over 9 million. That was an increase from adopted. Some of that is due to just additions like the TK add-on. They added an extra amount for every TK student. And we have a lot of TKers, so that was helpful. The expenditures are more than our revenue this year. I go over that frequently in another item. But moving on to enrollment in ADA, I took the estimates from a previous board meeting, I believe it was October, where our enrollment was at about 455 students. Going off of like our typical actual attendance based on enrollment, we're normally around 95%, just above. And so that is what I used to make an estimate for this year's ADA. I did note that the estimate for the funding is actually 463.19, and that is because the way the state aid works is it takes the highest amount, whether it's prior year, current year, or the prior 3-year average. And so because our ADA was so high a couple of years ago, the highest amount between those 3 options is prior 3 years average. So, which actually, because our ADA, we ended a little bit higher than anticipated last year. And so this 463.19 is slightly higher than anticipated. And then because we had a significant decline in enrollment, as with the prior 3 years, it's not affecting this year's revenue as much. But it's definitely going to affect the out years because we'll continue to use the 3-year prior average. So every year that enrollment's lower, the average goes down. So, and then I just did a little comparison, the light green, where our actual ADA is significantly lower than what's being funded. And that's because of that calculation on the 3-year prior. I mentioned this at unaudited actuals, but the funded COLA stayed at 2.3%, is expected to be a little over 3% for the next 2 years. And the only big changes this year in terms of funding was the other state funding. There was a slight bit more of the learning recovery block grant. And then there was another grant that has come in called the student support grant. And we haven't allocated any expenditures to those yet, but those are one time. And then moving on, as you can see, the certificated salaries typically are the highest amount out of all the expenditures. Our services are quite high, and that is just due to the Mountain Valley JPA services for special ed, special needs. And then because of the, I guess, we're expecting more deficit spending than we anticipated. I put our reserve to 5%. We had it at 7%. So basically, 5% of all of our expenditures is set aside for economic reserve. And our unrestricted ending balance was 2.4 million. Our total ending general fund was just over 4 million. And then the current year deficit spending I talked about, I think it's just over 500,000. Majority of that is to one-time funds that we have to spend down this year. So the educator effectiveness block grant, we have spent a significant amount. We still have a little bit more to spend. And the art and music block grant. So those items account for a large amount of that because we received them in previous years, but they have to be spent by the end of this year. And then I noted some other unexpected expenses. We had some bus maintenance, training costs, and then we have facility projects such as the DO roof, and then we met with IT and that we have to start phasing in some new computers based on, well, not some software, but
Windows 10.
yeah.
So our computers that we have now won't support the new Windows coming out. So all the PCs have to be replaced.
Yeah, and actually they were trying to get us to do it like now, over the summer, but they said that Windows was extending how long they're going to continue to let current users use that. So we're going to do half of the computers this year, and then the other half next year, and then they should all be replaced in time. And in the following year, there's a slight surplus. I noted that it might increase based on the new time monies that we got, the learning recovery and that student support, because we haven't planned those expenditures yet, they're not in the multi-year outlook. So that could be some deficit spending. And then there's more deficit spending in the third year, and it's not horrible,
But majority of that is that, right, our costs keep going up, but that ADA amount, gets lower. So it's not really recouping, you know, kind of going the opposite direction in terms of attendance, so. And then I did put a note that the current salary agreements will end, in the second subsequent year, so we're okay on the salary agreements for the remainder of this year and next year. But that third year, the salary agreements will affect that. And that was kind of the sum of everything. Does anyone have any questions?
On the music and art grant where you said we still had monies to spend, is that the shared contract for the salary for the teacher, or is there more that we need to spend in addition to that?
More that we need to spend in addition to that. Now, that is a discretionary block grant, so that's just gonna be, we need to make a decision on how best to utilize that funding. So discretionary means like it's intended for its purpose, which we are using it for. We are using, and we're not required to use it on a music teacher because we're under the 500 student threshold. It's not a requirement, but we do use it for that. But yeah, we'll have to decide because his cost is a small portion of what we're needing. And I can let you know what that amount is. Okay.
Do you have any more questions?
I make a motion to approve the 25-26 first interim budget.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, 18.2, discussion action. Oh wait, I'm sorry, we just did that. I just put my note in the wrong spot. My apologies. 18.3, discussion action, approve extended school year ESY waiver.
So the extended school year waiver is one that we send to the state. So the state requires 20 days of, they require 180 hours of extended school year. That is not summer school. Extended school year is for special ed only. And countywide, so that we don't go into the new fiscal year and to save costs on transportation, we all ask for a waiver to do that same 180 hours in the 3 weeks, so we're done by the end of June. So we do it in 15 days instead of 20. This has already been approved by our bargaining units and our school site council, and it'll be approved by SELPA in February. We do this every year, and it just, again, is to save costs on transportation, and also it's really hard to get staff for 1 week, the first week in July.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the extended school year ESY waiver.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, 18.4, discussion action, approve resolution number 26-10, interim borrowing. Okay.
I think I can explain it. Yeah, I want to give you this, I sent you this already as well. So what it is we are working with Schrader and Associates to apply for Prop $2 for improvement, for modernization and new construction. It takes super long time, it's take a year. But so our school qualifies for hardship funding, and the way to get, so you have to have your architectural plans when you submit to the CDE, like what you want to have done, but they're really expensive. And so this resolution lets us borrow from the general fund to pay for it. And then when we get the money from Prop 2, we pay it back within the first 60 days of receiving it. That way, those plans and costs can be covered in the Prop $2. Otherwise, we have to just pay for it and not get it reimbursed. Is that clear as mud?
Any questions?
I make a motion to approve resolution 2610 for borrowing.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 18.5, discussion action, approve. AR 51, all of these, we'll go through each one individually. These are the ones that we had tabled from last month and need some more information. So we'll go through each one of them. I think it'll probably be pretty quick, but no guarantees. And then Rhonda gave us a fresh blank guide sheet, I think it's checklist, it's called here today on the table. So 5145.3, the regulation for non-discriminatory harassment. Let me get over to that page. What's that?
Is that the really long?
There, it is a very long one.
Okay.
Um,
138.
So we talked about this one a little bit. This one has some, infringes, like I said last month, on the sports and gender issues and stuff. I did some research on those issues. You know, our boards in California not adopting these policies are, and what I found, there are 16 school districts in California that have adopted resolutions. But the resolution does not supersede the state law or the ed code. It's basically a political statement by a board. You're not, it doesn't do anything to change the ed codes that were helped. So as much as I would love to be able to say, you know, there are some boards that have chosen to not put some of this verbiage in their policies. However, they're now in litigation. And we're already in an expensive litigation. So I don't know, like, I have my strong feelings, and I don't know that I can do anything besides have strong feelings, you know? So open discussion here, obviously, but these are mandated policies. Again, we can adopt resolutions to say that our board, you know, that our district doesn't comply with them, but in the end, we're still held to ed code, and it doesn't
It's not gonna
supersede.
be a difference. We say that we don't agree with it, but it's not gonna change anything.
So when the research that I did, just pull it up. Again, 16 school districts have passed resolutions to define girls' sports as being exclusively for CIS gendered girls, those assigned female at birth. These resolutions are largely symbolic as they do not override state law, but they signal strong local opposition. Legal implications of these local school board resolutions are complex because they create a direct conflict between California state law, local directives, and the federal government's interpretation of Title IX. They are not legally binding. They do create exposure to state lawsuits. And most districts in California right now are considered to be caught in the middle of state and federal litigations. The districts are in the middle of a major legal battle between the state of California and the U.S. Department of Justice. Right. Now keep in mind, when I did the research last month in regards to this policy, and there was a lot of verbiage that I was surprised to see was already in our policies from like 3 or 4 years ago. So that's all, most of it's already there in the first place. So according to the CSBA, these are mandated policies by the state of California that talk about non-discrimination harassment. There are a couple paragraphs in there that speak to, let me just get to the correct page. There are quite a few, sections in here that are specific to high school and CIF. I think we can omit all the CIF stuff because we're not a high school, we are not, held to those requirements. So I definitely would say that we should remove anything that notes CIF requirements. Yes. So section number 5 is the districts that participate in California Interscholastic Federation, which is high school sporting stuff. I'm on page 143 right now. 143 has the text that explains the section about number 5 and what it is, and then it's not actually until 146 that you see that little section because they struck through so much. There's a lot of requirements in this policy. Again, I'm wondering if we are doing, all of the publications that it requires that we do. Post a link to a statewide CDE compiled resource, including community-based organizations that provide support to youth who have been subjected to discrimination, harassment, intimidation, or bullying. Has to be in a prominent location on the district's website, easily accessible to parents and students, provide students a handbook that contains age-appropriate information that clearly describes the district's non-discrimination policy, procedures for filing a complaint, and resources available to students who feel that they've been a victim of such behavior. So again, I always want to make sure when we put a policy in place, are we ready to abide by what it says? There is a verbiage in there. This is a really long one. Provide to certificated staff or certificated employees serving students in grades 7 through 12 information on existing school and community resources related to support lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning LGBTQ+ students, or related to the support of students who may face bias or bullying on the basis of any actual or perceived characteristics. Is that already in place?
Yeah, that's almost, remember that policy that came through on the posters? So it had to be student made, remember that one? So we did that when that one.
Yeah, but this says that certificated staff have to receive 1 hour of education.
And
Yeah, so
they're
there's-
already doing that right now.
Okay, there's a CDE
That's like a whole different
program called Prism,
Mhm.
so. First half through the end of January. I did that. This is
Here's stuff down there.
I don't, yeah, it's just. Something to, yeah, and I feel like that's why we sit here, it's to keep stuff like that from happening, even if the state of California says yes.
I agree.
What, I was gonna say, what is the actual, is it all these different things that, are they asking us to approve this, not approve this?
Well, they're asking us to approve the changes and adopt these changes. And again, some of this does relate to,
Is this the staff rooms, the sports team,
yep,
all of it?
here's where I'm at with this. If you look at our current policies, some of the stuff that many of us are expressing here tonight that we strongly oppose are already in our policy. Like, I would much rather go back. Me personally, I would love to, get to our attorneys and say, what can we do? How can we reword our policy to better reflect our district stance on these issues? And stay within whatever regulations we have to stay within. I think I believe, and our attorney has expressed to me, the way I understood the way that she said it, was that CSBA writes these policy recommendations and insinuates that they are mandated, but that may not necessarily be the case. So I honestly would rather deep dive into this. And I'd be willing to do it. I just want to make sure that I have the support of the board to do it.
Yeah, because I'm not, I think we need to look into what there already is and make some changes like Jackie said, that's why we're sitting here.
Exactly, I agree. I just want to make sure that I'm not a sole voice.
No, not at all.
Okay, so we're gonna continue to table this one until we do the research that,
Okay.
to get it to where we want to be. All right, board policy 5145.6, parent guardian notifications. So this one and the exhibit attached to it, Gina and Larissa, we had tabled this. Again, these two are optional. I read through them again, and it was an exhaustive list of notifications. And every single notification says, as per EDCO, as per EDCO. So if it's per EDCO, do we really need a policy that also says do it? And when it's optional. So I know you guys probably did some research for me.
Yeah, and that's basically, what I came back with was that, all of those listed are required by CAE, so there's, no point, you don't need to have it in there, it's just also a template if you've had other notifications that the board wanted to implement, it was kind of also a template to add those in.
Anyone have any opinions here? My recommendation on this one is to drop this policy and exhibit, again, because every single one of them says as per EDCO.
I'm good with that. Are we, do we need to make a motion for each one of these
No.
individually?
No,
Okay.
we can make one motion, but I just want to be clear when we're doing these, that we are not only not adopting these, but are we also deleting what we already have?
Yes, we are dropping the policy completely. So when you do a search for this policy on our gamut, nothing will come up. Okay, board policy 6145.2, athletic competition and the accompanying regulation. Get to that page, I'm sorry. This one we were asked that we find out, if we're prepared to offer the training that the coaches have to have in regards to heat exhaustion, concussion. I filled out a sports packet today that had all of those acknowledgements as a parent. But did you, or?
Yeah, so they do get it through Keenan, and then Corey and I have a draft of like the emergency action plan for like what do you do if? Like where are the AEDs located? Who, like we have to assign who calls 911? Who keeps the parents at a safe distance away? Who runs and gets the AED? So we do have a draft.
That's in a draft, how soon can it be finalized?
It'll be finalized by January.
Okay, 'cause again, we're gonna put the policy in place about the time that Rhonda clicks the button that it's adopted, we need to be ready to roll. So can we line that up?
Yeah.
So do we want to say adopt as a date in January so that we give them time to have that draft finalized and approved and make sure that all the coaches have it? Okay, so I'll recommend that we adopt as of, let's just say January 31st, 2026.
Yeah.
For both of those. Rhonda, you got all that? Okay, so with that, I think that's all of them. Yes? Yes.
Anybody have any more questions? I'll make a motion to approve AR 5145.3, BP 5145.6, B151456, BP 6145.2, AR 6145.2,
As discussed.
as discussed. With the tabling and the adopting in January of 2026. I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we got our September packet last month, we're in our second read, we'll be lovely joys over the holidays, so we can come back in January prepared to make the decisions on those policies. 19.0 superintendent update.
TKK building update, the TKK site is projected to be completed in mid-January. We're currently working through the logistics of occupancy and will determine soon whether it's feasible and beneficial to move into the new space before the end of the school year. Mid-year LCAP and dashboard data, we're finalizing our mid-year LCAP update, which will be shared with School Site Council next week, along with our most recent California dashboard data. Again, I'm pleased to report that our district demonstrated strong academic growth, over 3% improvement in math and 10% in ELA, marking the highest growth in the county. This
Wow.
reflects the hard work in our staff and the intentional systems we continue to build. Math adoption, we're currently working with SCOE on the math curriculum adoption process, and we'll bring updates to the board as we progress through the review and selection stages. Facilities and operations, greenhouse panels have arrived. We're struggling getting the contractor to show up, so we're working on that. We successfully had one school bus repainted. Meaning not me, located a company in Sacramento that was half the cost of the local bus painter. And so,
It's a very specialized role.
it is because they need like a really big, so when the CHP comes and does their like annual check or whatever, they said we needed different payment.
But what I'm saying is the savings worth driving
It pays for two. It was
Wow.
almost half.
to drive down?
Yes.
And that, because we have to, I'm assuming a driver has to come down,
Robin takes them.
or whoever, and stays with it while they.
No, they leave
They
it
have to leave it.
and then
Yeah.
go back to the van.
My
I
house,
say
like,
just turn the kids loose.
the cost was like $20,000 in Sacramento, so yeah, it was closer to 35 to 40 here locally, so yeah, it's a big
Just
cost.
turn the kids loose next time.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean no pain.
Huge savings. And speaking of huge savings, Robin has figured out, so we hired the custodian guy, and so he's gonna get his bus driver license. And we've been able to now provide almost all of our own special ed transportation, which is gonna be a huge savings as well.
Wow.
And then finally, I know this has taken a very long time, but we are almost ready to post our e-handbook on the website. It's taken a lot of time to go back and forth with the person on the revisions and whatever, so. We just have one last little revision to make.
Can you share again what the highest growth in the county was? That's pretty amazing.
10% in ELA. So it's the growth, not our scores, but
Right.
we're getting there.
Yeah.
10% in ELA, highest growth.
That's amazing. Thank you. Business manager update.
Okay, so obviously I just finished first interim. I'm still working with the auditors. I worked a lot, in November, even over the break, as they were not off. And it looks like it's gonna be completed by Friday, which is the deadline. I spoke to them this morning, and there's just a couple of more things that we need to wrap up. And I recently attended the CEO symposium. which is basically a conference for all the CBOs in the state. And they communicated that the fiscal forecast for the current year is positive and meeting the expectations that they set forth in May. There was less lottery sales last year than expected, so that revenue was adjusted slightly. So for lottery, for both unrestricted and restricted, we get paid off based on ADA. So I believe the restricted is like $82 per ADA, and I think it went down to 80. So it was like changes like that. So lottery revenue is down.
I'm surprised it gets up to $1 billion like every other month now.
Yeah, I know, I was surprised too. And then just our office is working on completing, another early payroll. We had an early payroll last month, and then we have another early payroll this month. And then just also getting ahead of all our vendor payments. SCOE is closed most of the break. And so they're not really running like normal operations. And so just trying to get ahead and make sure everything that we have is in for payment.
Any questions? All right. 21.0 enrollment update as of December 5th, 2025, 461 students. I believe that's up 5 from last month. TK through 8th grade includes CDS.
I have a comment for enrollment, so I know that's been a concern, so we, Rocio and Lindsay, so we're making a spreadsheet and they've added like who left and why and where they went, and then, so we're working on that, and then we're gonna tackle the inter-districts as well, in and out, so that we have a better idea. We have it kind of color-coded about, for the different reasons. Preliminary, most people just moved out of Happy Valley. So, but I'll be able to share it. Right now, it's not, we need to take the names off. Yeah. I'm not ready to share it.
Thank you. 22.0 next meetings, January 2026, based on our organizational meeting that will start here in a moment. Board meeting times, again, are up for, we can discuss at our organizational meeting, if we're gonna keep them at the same time or not. If we don't change anything, it'll be 5 o'clock, 5:05 for open session, community comments on the closed session agenda items here in the cafeteria, 5:05 to 6 o'clock closed session in the elementary room 201, 6 p.m. open session regular board meeting back here in the cafeteria. All right, so then we enter into 23.0, our organizational meeting.
So I was gonna say, what if we change, unless we have something real big, what if we change started at 5:15 instead of 5 o'clock?
So that's B on the
That's my
agenda. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
So we'll do
You wanna do the
nominations.
office, okay.
So we'll do A, nomination, elections of officers, and then we'll get into what we're gonna do for the upcoming calendar year.
Well, I don't know how you guys think, but with everything going on that we're in the middle of, and I think they're doing a good job, I would like to nominate Jody to be the president. Continue. We at one point didn't think we could do it for more than 1 year, and then I think it was Carla found out that we can have the same president for 2 years.
You can have it for as many years as you elect them. So there was just a standing practice in our district that you rotate every year and don't do the same thing 2 years in a row. I personally, the first year is a huge learning year. So I felt like that was a disservice to the board. And I actually was the one who looked like, why do we have to change it up every time? And I also at the time wanted Nate to be president of city. If I'm being fully honest, I was like, why can't he do it again? He's doing great.
That's like, I
So-
want you to run me for
Yeah,
because what do you guys, are you good with that, Josh? Okay, so I make do you want us to motion for each individual?
Yes, motion and second and vote for each one.
Okay, I make a motion that we have how do you want me? Do you want me to make?
I do make a motion to nominate Jody Sherman as for president.
Okay, I make a motion to nominate Jody Sherman as president for the 25-26 year
I don't even think you have to add that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
President.
nominate
I will
president.
second that.
Aaron seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Then we need to nominate vice president.
I make the motion to nominate Erin to be vice president so that she can learn.
I'll go for that.
I'm just making notes, so just 1 second. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Jody's always good, I've never talked to her. Don't worry.
She's not here on that one either.
Oh, correct.
We also need to nominate our clerk. The clerk is the person who has to sign most of the resolutions. Be readily available. Occasionally Rhonda has to be able to get a hold of that person to sign something rather quickly. You might need to be available. Cheryl has been the clerk before. Jackie, I know that you have availability issues probably during the day, so I don't.
Yeah. Rhonda and I are good. She lets me know when I come over.
I know where she lives.
Yeah, she does.
I'm literally
She's
right over there.
She's had me come to my house and sign this.
I'll second. Did you make a motion?
I did not.
Okay, I'll make a motion that Cheryl Best be our clerk.
All in favor? Aye.
Second.
Any opposed?
I guess I'm not to say Erin.
Okay, and then Jody, you need to nominate, Gina to be the board secretary, even though she doesn't really do board secretary.
Isn't that in our policy? Does it actually have to be, our policy is that the superintendent
You
is.
guys have done it the last couple of years, so we just need to keep going with it.
Okay. As per our policy, I motion that our superintendent be, designated as the secretary.
And then she designates it to me.
Exactly.
I'll second all of that.
I didn't realize we had to make a motion considering it was in policy. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? I gotta write all this down, give me just a second.
I mean, Gina, unless you really want to, or you're not allowed to do it.
Okay, now on D, board meeting date, time, and place.
I would like, so that they give us a little bit less time, I think 5:15 to start the meeting instead of 5 o'clock unless there's like something really heavy or a lot of stuff that we're gonna be talking about. So it'd be 5:15 to 5:20.
And then 5:20 to 6. Yeah, and then we'll start the meeting still at 6. That's just my thought, just shorten it up a little bit.
If we need to, we
If-
can always.
Move it back to 5. But that way we're not always guessing and having to ask Rhonda, are we meeting at 5, 5:30?
Yeah.
What works?
Does the
Everybody,
second Wednesday still work for everyone for the date of the meeting?
a really busy week for me, but I know there's lots of other stuff going on, so I don't know what. I have a Monday night meeting and then this meeting all the same week, but then at the same time I get that over with the rest of the.
So
I got a Wednesday.
This is every month.
Every month, the second Wednesday.
The second Wednesday is the most work for me.
The third Wednesday doesn't work for me, and the first Wednesday, we did that in the past, and it was too soon and caused a lot of issues. We've done Tuesday instead of Wednesday before, but I think Wednesday, the PTO, I don't know when they meet.
I honestly don't know when they meet.
I don't know, cause we were having.
I know that there were also issues with conflicts with, Anderson High School board meeting before, so I can't remember when I think
I
they
think
meet,
I think it's like maybe tonight also.
no, I don't think they're it's a different week.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
'cause I can't do the third Wednesday of the month, that's when I've got 4-H time.
this one works for me, but I'm also probably the most flexible.
So Jackie, what do you,
I'm fine, I can find.
your schedule just rotates anyways, right? So there's no given, okay. Josh,
You make whatever work.
okay. Then I make a
So
motion.
just so you know, when you're voting on the time, it needs to be the open session time, not the closed session time. So open session is 6 o'clock, so good for everybody.
Yes,
So that's how you're gonna make it, the motion 6 o'clock.
okay, and the 5:15 doesn't need to be voted. Okay, so I make a motion that we continue meeting the second Wednesday of each month with the exception of sometimes April, because of Easter, we have to move it. Do you want us to say all of that?
We just do that individually once we get the calendar and find out.
Okay, you don't
if
want that
anything-
in the motion, okay, because June's the other
Because we'll
one.
just
That,
take those
yeah, that just
separately.
comes up in the agenda.
Okay, so I make a motion that we continue meeting the second Wednesday of each month at 6 p.m. here in the cafeteria at the elementary school. Did everything?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 24.0, adjourn open session.
I make a motion to adjourn open session.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
One more time, the motion and second.
I have that Cheryl made a motion and Aaron seconded.
So is everybody good to meet at 5:15? Yeah, we'll start going that to the 5. Okay. Yeah, that's just a little about it.